Please stand as you are able for the presentation of colors by Celebration High School. Please be seated.
So in the early 2000s, the intelligence community found itself with this brand new tradecraft, geospatial intelligence.
You hear the folklore, I guess, of the founders.
A bunch of very smart people got together and said, let's have a meeting.
To have an event, to pull like-minded people together.
Industry, academia, along with military folks, and talk about what this new thing was.
It was a little conference called GEOINT in New Orleans.
And they really thought they were going to have a few hundred people, and I think they had over 1,000.
We legitimately expected around 200 to 250 people. We had 1,218 that actually registered. So the night before the event, we had no place for these people to sit. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were literally unfolding the folding chairs and putting out as many hundreds and hundreds of folding chairs as we could in a very long room.
So I go to New Orleans and I'm asked to participate in a panel. And now we're sitting on a stage, which none of us had ever done. So there's some anxiety, of course, because we're just not used to having these conversations in the open. It immediately hit me, the value.
They discovered the potential.
And we're like, wow, there's really interest to create something here.
To me, it was a light bulb moment.
It was more than a success. Such a success that those very smart people got together in 2004 and formed what we now know as USGIF, the United States Geospatial Intelligence Foundation.
It was a community without organization, and the foundation helped organize this community.
They were going to undertake and take on this responsibility to create this GEOINT workforce, this GEOINT pipeline to serve this new discipline. You know, I think somebody could ask, is the foundation still relevant? It's 20 years later. What's the role of the foundation? And I'd argue it's more relevant than ever.
The things that we do in the geospatial intelligence community matter. it saves lives. It provides the foundation for our clandestine case officers. It provides a foundation for our military services. It provides a foundation for our emergency services. Geospatial intelligence is that foundation of all of our security, our very way of life.
We are a vibrant community that clearly understands the value of collaborating.
The foundation is always open to new ideas.
The industry partnerships are key, and especially partnerships across industry organizations.
I see that the value has grown and will continue to grow to serve this community. Everyone has incredible passion for this mission.
Our mission then and our mission now is solid. We build the community, advance the tradecraft, and spur innovation.
I am so proud of every company and every organization in this space.
I do think that USGIF is remarkable. I do think that USGIF is different. We have always acted like a family.
One of the things I'm really proud of is our scholarship program. We have raised more money for scholarships in the past year than ever before in a single year.
It's a foundation that has never stopped learning and growing.
Has the tradecraft changed in 20 years? Yeah, because that's been our mission. Should we stop where we are? No, we still have so much more work to do.
I'm not sure I can imagine everything that the future holds for us.
We have a responsibility to make sure that we always do it right. We take fullest advantage of the technology, take fullest advantage of the capacity of this community and work together, and never try to get so competitive with each other that we forget why we stood up to begin with. It was to bring a community together so that we all solve bigger problems. And that is what I would want people to think about in terms of the future.
As USGIF moves into the next 20 years, the mission continues to evolve.
The technology continues to evolve very, very quickly.
We cannot assume what we have gained today we will have tomorrow, unless we continue to drive and continue to innovate.
We have to continue to change. We have to continue to learn.
It's incumbent upon us to help bring the next generation of GeoWinters to bear.
People are going to change. People are retiring and moving out, and it really kind of carries on the legacy to the up-and-coming GeoWinters that are going to be the future leaders of the community.
What brought us here today will not get us where we're going, and we need to keep building towards the future.
There's always something new and wonderful coming from USGIF, and I can't imagine a future without it.
Please welcome to the stage USGIF Chief Executive Officer Ronda Schrank.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 GEOINT Symposium. Anybody recognize that song? Just shows that good things don't go out of style. As we celebrate the 20th anniversary of USGIF, I thought it appropriate and, okay, maybe a little bit fun to recall the #1 pop song from May 6th, 2004. So, thank you, Usher, wherever you are. We are delighted to bring so many friends and colleagues together this year as we come together and explore how GeoInt is, in fact, essential in all dimensions and all domains. And a big thank you to Celebration High School Color Guard for helping us to get the symposium off to such a great start. Let's give them a round. Welcome. Taking part in this year's symposium are more than 4,000 attendees from across the wide spectrum of the GeoInt community. I am so proud how this amazing turnout affirms our work in building the GeoInt community as USGIF celebrates its 20th year of service. And what'd you think about that video? Thumbs up? Yeah? We deeply appreciate this opportunity to share insights among our community to advance the tradecraft and accelerate innovation. We have a remarkable gathering at this year's symposium with people from a diverse range of backgrounds. So let's take a little peek. This year we have 245 organizations who will showcase their cutting-edge technologies, applications, and solutions in the sold-out exhibit hall. And a huge thanks to the 215 speakers who will be sharing their insights in 169 sessions, including keynote addresses, expert panels, training sessions, and lightning talks. We are especially delighted to welcome more than 415 international guests from more than 30 countries. Your presence strengthens our global perspective. Additionally, we are grateful for the participation of 48, I'm going to say that again, 48 academic institutions who are helping us to bridge the gap between research and real-world applications, as well as helping to educate our workforce of tomorrow. Now let's get to know each other a little bit. What do you say? Last year in St. Louis, just under half of our attendees were first-time attendees. So if we can bring the house lights up just a little bit. There we go. All right, it's time for audience participation. I would like to see a show of hands for those of you that this is your very first GEOINT symposium. Oh, look at that. Welcome. I am so excited to see you here, and I hope that you will come back year after year. Last night we had our welcome celebration. How many of you participated? Yeah, that was a fun time. Thank you to USGIF team, Gaylord, AWS, and everyone for attending. I ran into at least 3 people last night who have been to every single GEOINT symposium. So a special shout out to my colleague, the CEO of GeoCisu, Jessica King. Jessica, I think you're here. Yes. Thank you to everyone who has been with us all along. Next, the great triumvirate is alive and well, with representation from industry, government, and academia. We are so happy to have you here, and we trust that your time here together will result in innovative approaches and new capabilities in support of our collective national security. And here's a special shout out to the Golden Ticket class of 2024. Raise your hands high. Give them a round of applause. Congratulations to these 24 exceptional young professionals who were chosen from a competitive pool to participate in a dedicated program this week featuring special training sessions, mentoring, and inclusion in VIP events. We are also thrilled to welcome 14 high school students from USGIF partner organizations. Where are you? Over here. Welcome. We're very, very happy to have you. Those of you who were with us last year in St. Louis might remember that in 2023, we hosted a cohort of high school students from Gateway Global, American Youth, and Business Alliance Academies in St. Louis. And we were so impressed by these students, pictured here, who were just beginning their career as GEOINTers, or at least thinking about their career as GEOINTers. This year, we are so pleased to welcome another cohort from Gateway Global and to introduce our new partners from Elevate Orlando, who have brought their own cohort. These high school programs are making a huge difference in students' lives and the future of our GEOINT community as they expose the next generation to the boundless possibilities of careers in GEOINT and STEM. We have an exciting program lined up for you today. So, to help start things off, I would like to introduce our distinguished Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Robert Cardillo. Please help me welcome him.
Congratulations. Congratulations to the room. It is so good to be back here at GEOINT, although it was a little disconcerting to see the video from 20 years ago. The hair used to be brown. I have evidence now. But look, I'm just thrilled that we're back here together, back here in Orlando, and really celebrating what you've accomplished, but also setting our sights on what we need to do from here. So why don't we try to set the tone for the conversation here on stage in the exhibit hall, and importantly at the coffee breaks as well. And we'll take a look at some of the talented and amazing accomplishments this industry has made in the past year or so. Before we begin, I need to nod to my good friend, former boss, Sue Gordon. And Sue liked to describe our profession writ large as three things. We scan the horizon, we detect threats, and we enable decisions before events dictate. So that's going to be our framework, and let's celebrate some of the best examples of scanning, detecting, enabling. And again, I'm old enough to remember those light table days, and I've earned my gray hair. But even in that analog era, we could not have done our job without machines. A few of you, a very few of you, might recall a terminal that I used when I first joined this industry called ARIES, Advanced Imagery Reporting and Exploitation System. It was none of those words, let me tell you. It was very large, it was very slow, it was very quirky. As a matter of fact, if it started to rain, you knew better than to get on the workstation because it was going to go down quickly. But it was necessary, it was essential, because we couldn't document our reporting, our exploitation, unless we could enter it into the system. So this construct, or this concept that people have of this human versus machine, I think is not only false, I think it's harmful. Rather, it has been, and I think it always will be, human and machine, human on the loop. But we are definitely entering a new stage, this age of artificial intelligence, a steep curve of new technology, large language models and computer vision. And in my mind, what it does is it moves the machine to the left. And it enables the machine to do what I believe it does best. It answers three questions: what, where, and when. All critical. But then it saves the most important questions for our most precious resource, the human analyst, to address the really difficult questions of why and what's next. So it's that teaming that we're going to talk about here today, Rhonda.
All right, well, while I don't have Robert's gray hair, I too remember the days of the light table. And when the government did the majority of the GEOINT work, my, how that landscape has changed. And our industry partners have contributed to sense-making on some of the world's hardest intelligence problems. This morning, we'd like to share some of those examples with you. In each instance, advanced technology is combined with deep human expertise, providing results that were unimaginable in the light table days. With that, let's start with a peek at China.
This room will be quite familiar with the global competition that's become more complex and contentious. China's Belt and Road Initiative continues to undermine stability throughout the world through their pawn shop approach, offering no questions loans, and in return, onerous, opaque obligations in return. Our friends at Three Gimbals have provided this view of the base that the PLA has built in Africa, in Djibouti. And this approach is creating de facto colonies with access to commodities that are fueling China's aspirations. Now, this is China's first acknowledged overseas military base. It was established in 2017. It's a powerful example of that Belt and Road Initiative. Over the past 7 years, this room, our ecosystem, is able to monitor the footprint, the technical capabilities, very close to US AFRICOM's forward location. And from this location, China can surveil, influence crucial maritime routes, including trade and energy, that are critical for China, and a troublesome SIGINT platform. All of this analysis comes together to reveal how those investments in Djibouti are key to their strategy and how it affects our security.
Thank you, Robert. Cambodia's Ream Naval Base was previously the site of joint Cambodian-U.S. training and naval exercises. In the past few years, China has funded construction at this base near the Strait of Malacca. The strait is a major global shipping lane through which around 30% of all globally traded goods transit annually, so freedom of navigation in the strait is paramount. Because the area is heavily overcast most of the year, assets such as Capella's SAR imaging satellites uncover potential challenges to that freedom. Here, a series of SAR images from 2023 show China's effort to obtain strategic advantage in the region through the construction of a large pier at Ream, as well as the overall expansion of base facilities. These images, combined with data from Spire Global, analysis from Roke, and a unique application of computer vision, have presented a clear picture of the increasing influence by the Chinese at Ream. China and its attempt at disinformation are no match for our human-machine teaming. Despite official denials that China's activities at Ream have military intent, these series of images show how AI tipped analysts to the presence of Chinese warships at Ream. Yet one more example of China providing attractive financial opportunity with unforeseen or perhaps unacknowledged risks to global stability. To close out the story for today, the warships remain at base. And if you'd like to learn a little more about this, check out the Center for Strategic International Studies report, First Among Peers, and that's PIERS, Chinese ships settle in at Cambodia's Ream, published just a few weeks ago.
Thanks, Rhonda. Now, infringements by China on other countries' territory has spread to the maritime domain in the South China Sea, and this is also provoking instability. The Sabina Shoal is within the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. It provides access to potential oil and gas resources, influence over fishing grounds, and maritime traffic routes. Now, China has conducted numerous provocations in this area, including harassing naval vessels and construction sites on nearby islands. Now, on March 4th, high-resolution electro-optical imagery from Skyfi confirmed that 21 Chinese civilian ships anchored together in a rafting tacket at the Sabina Shoal. Now, this pattern suggested that the Chinese maritime militia was linked to this effort. Now, when they tied and they anchored together, they made a makeshift Chinese outpost. These commercial vessels, subsidized for operations in disputed waters, assert China's claims of sovereignty. Now, the day after this image was taken, a similar group of ships supported by the Chinese Coast Guard near the Second Thomas Shoal, not far from Sabina, created an incident in which they blasted a Philippine supply boat with water cannons, injuring 4 Philippine naval sailors and prompting international outcry. Now, commercially available GEOINT helps U.S. allies, such as the Philippines, maintain critical awareness, and these images can serve as elements for public and international diplomacy to bring delight, to bring transparency to China's menacing presence and the provocations in violation of recognized international norms.
All right, thank you, Robert. Inside China, this image from Planet Labs on the screen from December of 2022 is quite revealing. It's a full-scale mock-up of the Taiwanese government sector in Taipei, which is located in the city's restricted Bo-ai Special Zone. The Bo-ai Special Zone is a restricted zone in Taipei for the protection of the presidential office building and other government office buildings and historic sites. This model, erected at a potential military aerial bombing and gunnery training range in the desert of Inner Mongolia, eerily replicates the presidential office building and other government buildings seen on the image on the right. In 2015, the Chinese state television network broadcast a mock military assault on another, less spatially faithful replica of this presidential office building at a different site. Whether it's meant to serve as a training site to rehearse potential attacks against Taipei, or it's merely a propaganda tool meant for intimidation, is uncertain. But what we can say with certainty that it signals Beijing's interest in this part of Taipei at a time of international concern about the potential for Chinese aggression rather than peaceful unification with Taiwan.
Now, this following vignette involves the breach of the dam at Nova Kakhovka in Ukraine, and it highlights how the war there has had international implications, not just on the well-being of the Ukrainian citizens. Now, shortly after we held GEOINT about a year ago, on the morning of the 6th June 2023, explosions created a catastrophic breach in the dam that caused extensive flooding along the lower Dnieper River and creating devastation down as well. Now, Airbus electro-optical satellites and visual rendering algorithms allowed the government to monitor customers to closely monitor the impact of that breach. Chemicals and harmful bacteria were washed into the Dnepro-Bu Delta and into the Black Sea, which led to fishing bans and impacted regional food security. Now, here are two views, one from last year, shortly after the breach, and one from March. And it just gives you a good appreciation of the environmental devastation that occurred.
Thank you, Robert. As the global security situation moves from complicated to complex, global decision makers are looking to our community for decision advantage. These complex global security challenges underscore the value of partnerships and coalition. Working with the U.S. Defense Information Systems Agency, Cubic partnered with EverFox, formerly known as ForcePoint, to deploy a certified solution to share full motion video securely using DISA's Unified Video Dissemination System, or UVDS. EverFox provides the NSA-approved solution, while Cubic's web-accessible video sharing software completes the end-to-end solution. Together, they create a DoD enterprise cross-domain solution for FMV, which is illustrated in this figure. Since January, this solution has been operational in 3 locations, allowing real-time FMV to be shared securely across 6 partner locations. This solution dramatically minimizes the effect of latency and provides theater-based resiliency. This enables combatant command leaders to build trust with regional partners by sharing critical information in real time.
Maxar is monitoring a number of important facilities throughout Indo-PACOM, and such as this launch site in Jiuquan, China. Now, Maxar captured several images, they analyzed the activity around the launch site, and informed government clients about the likelihood of an upcoming launch. Now, a follow-on observation by Maxar's partner, Umbra, the next day showed that pre-launch activity had ceased, which was an indication that the launch could be imminent. Maxar then transitioned from Earth observation to their non-Earth imaging capability and captured a series of images of the spacecraft that was deployed from that launch, all within the first 7 days. And I should mention, too, my congratulations to our friends at Maxar for the recent launch of their Legion satellites.
The work across our community to apply AI/ML techniques across an ever-increasing amount and variety of imagery has unlimited potential. For example, GeoAI has boosted the ability to detect and assess activities such as lithium mining using commercial-based hyperspectral imagery. Chile is one of the world's leading producers of lithium, and I'm laughing because I didn't have that quite right yesterday, and my mentor helped me. Chile. lithium, and it's a key component in the manufacturing of batteries for electric vehicles, electronics, and renewable energy storage systems. Lithium extraction in Chile primarily involves the pumping of lithium-rich brine from underground aquifers beneath the salt flats. The brine is then pumped to the surface and concentrated through evaporation of large ponds, where lithium carbonate and other valuable minerals are extracted. Imagery analysts from Enabled Intelligence partnered with spectral scientists from Pixel to produce spectral analysis to determine the relative lithium concentrations among the ponds and potential leaching. The extraction and processing of lithium can have environmental implications, particularly in sensitive ecosystems like the Atacama Desert. Concerns include the depletion and contamination of groundwater, disruption of local ecosystems, and the consumption of scarce water resources in arid regions. Additionally, international entities, including China, have begun investing in Chile's lithium mining sector to secure a steady supply of lithium to the rapidly growing EV and battery industries. Assessments of the mining's operations, economic performance, and environmental impact are key to understanding China's ability to control supply chains, as well as their influence in nations like Chile. These examples illustrate just a fraction of the way our geospatial community and our geospatial intelligence tradecraft are providing critical insights across a multitude of dimensions and domains. As technology advances, the potential for geospatial intelligence continues to expand exponentially, from increasingly powerful sensors to faster data processing and highly advanced analytic tools. The future holds limitless possibilities that we have yet to fully grasp. With each innovation, geospatial intelligence becomes even more indispensable, offering capabilities that were once merely the things that dreams were made of. As we look ahead, we can only begin to imagine the transformative impact that these advancements will have on our understanding of the world and our ability to address increasingly complex security challenges.
We only had time to share a few examples from part of our team here today, but this room should be quite proud of what you've accomplished over the past year. It represents the commitment that you've made, the passion for our security, and the outcomes. But as I also like to say, there's no coasting. Okay, there's no spiking of the proverbial football. We've got to keep moving onward. And that future relies on this room. The weight is on all of our shoulders. So thank you for your commitment to this community. Thank you to those that we serve in order to improve our nation's security. And let's continue to scan those horizons, detect those threats, and provide insights before events dictate. And let's move onward indeed. And with that, Rhonda, I'm going to leave this audience in your good hands as our MC today.
All right, we'll see you back shortly, Robert. Let's give him applause. All right, I hope that was fun for you. That was fun for us to immerse in all that is going on, not all, a snippet that's going on in our community. So now it's time to bring our first keynote speaker to the stage. And to introduce her, I'd like to invite my friend and colleague, Jennifer Beatley, Vice President of Intelligence and Homeland Security for Oracle, to join me on the stage. Please help me in welcoming Jennifer.